Hello, Parvathy. It's wonderful to be here with you today. We are talking about what the Hindu religious tradition teaches us about love. And I want to just get us started off by acknowledging and recognizing that we're born into this world understanding the bond between a mother and father and a child and family and friends and so on. And our idea of love has a particular kind of definition, and often it's an exchange or a give and a take. But there's a lot of conversation about how love is not something that you do, it's something that we are. And this is what is discussed when we're trying to also discuss the relationship between love and spiritual practice. So I'm just going to bring this into the conversation to ask you to start us off to understand what love feels like to you. What is love to you?
So I feel love is the whole essence of the sadhana or the path of spirituality. And when we come or we start something, it is the love that drives us. Often people or sadhakas or seekers, they come to the path. Either they have found that love because of their previous karma or previous life or the sadhana. Naturally, it comes to them. Or they have been through a tremendous experience, good or bad, that brings them to seek for fulfillment. And if I look at, as a practitioner of Baul, the Sanatana Dharma is actually very big, very vast. And there are so many ways of describing love in this tradition, in this Dharma. When you asked me this, I was going through the life of mystics and practitioners from all over India. What it really means to them to love divine, to love Bhagavan, to love Ishvara in their own way. And this first group of sadhakas who came in front of me, whom I visualized in front of me, was this group of women sadhaks. It starts from 7th century, like with Andal in Tamil Nadu. Akka Mahadevi in 12th century in Karnataka. Then moves to Rajasthan. Mirabai, his love for Krishna. Then it comes to Bengal. You experience the love of Chandidas and Rajokini from 14th century, 13th century. So, and when I travel through all this poetry, all these songs, what I find is the same essence of love to the divine. And when I try to reflect in my life as a practitioner to Baul, it is just the love for those songs. As a young person, I hardly could understand anything of the meaning. But there was something that invoked or brought the experience of love inside, something that I felt was holding me with so much warmth. And I think that is what is the love that I was experiencing from the Bauls. And that led me to my guru. So this is the ingredient, the main base for starting the first step towards divine. And once we give our first step to the divine, it is said he takes 10 steps to us through love. He fills us with his abundance of love. So, and in the Baul tradition, we have a saying that Kam hoite hoy premer utpotti. That desire comes first, and from there the love happens. And when I was going through the poems of Chandidash, and in one point, there is a similarity between Nasadiya Sukta of Rig Veda, what it said about the creation of the universe and how the love formed. Because there is a beautiful explanation of Nasadiya Sukta that says that then even nothingness was not, nor existence. There was no air then, not the heavens beyond it. What covered it? Where was it? In whose keeping was there then cosmic water in depths unfathomed? Then there was neither death nor immortality, nor was there then the torch of night and day. The one breathed windlessly and self-sustaining. There was that one then, and there was no other. At first, there was only darkness wrapped in darkness. All this was only unilluminated water. That one which came to be, enclosed in nothing, arose at last, born of the power of heat. In the beginning, desire descended on it. So this is the most important line for the Baul. In the beginning, desire descended on it. That was the primal seed, born of the mind. So anything that was created, that first desire, that is the Kameshwara himself. And when we are looking at in Sanatana Dharma, the Purnatva or the completion of love, what is love? We have this image of Ardhanarishwara. That Kameshwara and Kameshwari, when the Purusha and Prakriti, the male and female, is complete in union, is contentment, completely content in their togetherness. But how they came to that contentment, which is love, is because of the desire to be united. So we in Baul, as we like to say everything in a sahaja way, and we want to embody divine in this mundane world. And with this body that is perishable, we want to experience the divine. We want to experience the divine love. We are talking about aprakrita prem. The love is prem or piriti in Baul. So what is this aprakrita prem? Is that the prem of Sri Radharani to Sri Krishna is aprakrita. The prem, the love of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the bhava of Radha, though he is the Krishna avatar himself, he is in the bhava of Radha. That is aprakrita. Aprakrita, that is the body that is free from the very earthly, ordinary desire. But is it desireless? It cannot be desireless. The very desire to unite with the divine is desire. So for the Baul, desire comes first, and then the love happens. The desire to know divine gives birth to love in us. So that is how we look into love when we talk about love in the Baul Parampara.
So how would you say that this search for love with the divine is different from the love that we seek in our ordinary mundane life? Or is it different?
It is absolutely different. Absolutely different. And there is so much joy in not loving in ordinary way. So, here I need to speak about Andal. And how beautifully she expresses her love. Andal was a very young girl. It is said that she was orphan, and she was found under a tulsi tree in Srirangam, in Ranganatha Swami's temple. And there was a flower garland. Her father, who actually found her, used to make flower garland for Ranganatha. So one day he gave the work to Andal as a young girl, that you make the garland and carry to Vishnu. And she asked, who is this Vishnu, Ranganatha? My husband, she thought. She was just in love with him. And for her, Vishnu was present. Ranganatha was present all the time. And she was making the garland. And she, as a child, she has seen that when people get married, they exchange garland. So what she did, after making the garland, she would put it on her first, and then send it for Ranganatha to wear. Nobody knew about this. But one day her father finds out and was very angry, because this is not done. Once we wear the garland, we cannot put it on the divine murti. So the father, banned her from making garland. So he carried a garland made with all purity and put it on Ranganatha. Every time they were putting that garland on him, it was falling down. He didn't take the garland that night. And in the night, the father of Andal had a dream that Ranganatha saying that let Andal make the garland. Let her wear it. Then only I feel like wearing it. So even today, that is, she lived in 7th century, 8th century. Even today, from her temple, every year twice, the garland goes to Tirupati and to Srirangam, to Ranganatha temple. So even today that is followed. During month of October and the month of Chaitra, that is the springtime. Maybe this is the time. No, just before this it happened. So in Andal, there is this beautiful expression of love to the divine. And that's what it echoes in Akka Mahadevi and in Mirabai. How come they are born in different area and different language, different culture also, but they have found the same intensity and yearning for the divine. And there is a beautiful poem of Andal where Andal is saying that to Madhava, to Vishnu, that you are very strong young man and I am longing for you, yearning for you. Just like, and I'm so much yearning for you that even my bangle in my hand is becoming bigger because I'm losing weight. In longing, in yearning for you, I'm losing weight. It's so intimate, so intimately expressed, the love. And then she says, like in the Punnai tree is a tree that the leaves are very thick and is dark green, just like the color of Sri Krishna. There hides the quail who calls for the mate in spring. The same way I am calling you. And she's asking the quail to call him for her. So this is the intimacy that Andal is experiencing. I will sing. I'm not a Tamil person, so my pronunciation will not be a very super good pronunciation. But this poetry where she says, I'm losing weight and my bangle is becoming bigger than me. And it is such a beautiful expression of having this close relationship with the divine. Madhava Mannu Perum Pugara Madhava Manivannan Mani Mudivaidan Mannu Perum Pugara Madhava. Tannai yugandadu karanam aga enasangai rakkum varakavunde mannu perum pugara Madhava. Punnai kurukati nyara serundipa padumminil varum koile padumminil varum kuile panni epperum iranda virayandan panni epperum iranda virayandan pavala vyana varukuvayai mannu perum pugara Madhava. Manivannan mani mudi maidan mannu perum pugara Madhava. Madhava mannu perum pugara Madhava.
Thank you for sharing that beautiful expression of between the lover and the being that is love. One of the beautiful aspects of practice in our Sanatana Dharma or Hindu tradition, and almost any spiritual tradition actually, is the expression of devotion. Devotion is such a big part of this spiritual path. And but another part of it also, in order to cultivate and deepen our faith in a certain way, certain amount of practice is required to be on the spiritual path. So you were sharing a bit of this practice with us from the Baul tradition, correct? Great. I mean, this practice has been, the Baul tradition is about 1,000 years old, would you say?
About the practice of Baul, it is much older than that. It came from Shiva. And it is an oral tradition. It's a Shruti Nirbhar, Guru Shishya Parampara. We don't really have written dates. But this sadhana is very ancient. That's all I can say.
I always get that answer when I ask how old these traditions are. Because you quoted from the Rig Veda also. There's no way to know how old these things are. Who's talking about creation when? We don't know. But there's something about the listening to the sounds that helps us understand and believe for no other reason except that we trust in our own heart what we're hearing and what we're feeling. One thing I wanted to ask you about was I saw that there's a practice called Madhukari that you offer in your tradition, which is something I had not really seen before. And I was wondering if you could just explain that a little bit to us here.
Madhukari is also all about sharing love only. Madhukari, Madhukar, this word is Sanskrit word, and also in Bengali we use, it means bees. And Madhukari is this bees going from flower to flower and gathering honey. And so Madhukari is like the sadhaka who is continuously producing this honey through their sadhana, is going to the houses randomly, just appearing in some houses any time of the day, but not any day. Like, for example, Purnima, Ekadashi, the days when people have some special brat or they have their own festivals, that day a sadhaka won't go. But in their normal daily life, suddenly they will appear and start singing Harinam. And this householder who receives Baul with such a great joy, they were not expecting him at all. So they're surprised. And the Baul don't waste any time talking, asking, how are you, greeting, hello, hi, nothing. They just start singing Harinam. Mm-hmm. And that is so intimate. That is so much without judgment about each other. This is a space, there is no you and I. This is a space where we all immerse in the ocean of love for Hari. And the Baul start singing and their heart melts. And this I have seen so many times. The receiver or the householder is moved by tears. With tears, they are moved. They start dancing. They are so, as if the divine himself has come to their house. And what the Baul is offering to them is that a moment when they forgot about the divine because of the tension, worries, timeline, work, and all the things they had to fulfill. They just forgot even perhaps to breathe even. That is the time Baul came in and paused everything and said, Harinam. And that steers everything when one is not at all ready to receive anything like that. And they immediately get into that realm of love. And these memories, later, from my experience, I can say that it helped the people immensely to connect themselves to divine, to realize that every action in our life, whatever it may be we do, is for the divine. And so, therefore, their life can be very simple and everything is about devotion. That's what the culture you will see in our villages in Bengal. And that all this was planted by these great sadhaks, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Mahaprabhu, and all their parshads, by the Bauls for centuries. So naturally, when you enter a village in Bengal, you find that element of devotion. No matter how much internet has come, or no matter how much they have all kinds of information of entertainment, but when a Baul comes in, everything stops, even today. So Madhukari is, and in return, they're also becoming interested in the spiritual path to turn their life in a devotional life, make it a divine life. And that is the biggest gift for a Baul. They are definitely giving them bhiksha of rice and other things or currency or whatever, which Baul is bringing and putting it for sadhu seva. But that's not the point. For a sadhaka, when they see in others, in everyone, the blooming of spirituality or adhyatmikata, that is the biggest gift, biggest ananda that a sadhaka can experience. So Madhukari is a way of fulfilling both the side. People from ordinary life and the sadhakas, they get fulfilled by each other. And Madhukari is extremely strong practice. If one can get into the sadhana, this sadhana, when you go from one house to the other, you see a completely different picture. It's like you are traveling from one movie to the other. You see the life. And then you see that how this ordinary love which brings bondages, and therefore from their sufferings, it becomes so different when it is divine love. You, from the love, if you look at Andal, look at Akka Mahadevi, look at Chandidas Rajokini, what they derive from love is complete vairagya. And this is ultimate renunciation given by the Hinduism or the Sanatana Dharma, is vairagya. The ultimate initiation in Baul is called Vairagya Diksha, when you are ready to be a sannyasi, to renunciate, to become a renunciate. So that is the ultimate. I just want to tell you a story of Akka Mahadevi, where she comes in this picture, that she's thinking Channa Mallikarjuna or Shiva as her husband. But this King Kaushika, who is a Jaina Sampradaya king, and he becomes interested in her and want to get married. And the Akka's parents thought it was the best thing to happen to her, to have it is the feeling of all Sanatana Dharma family and whole India, that the girl should get married before they get their menstrual cycle. So when she was 9 years old, she was married to Kaushika. But she said, I have received Shiva as my husband. And there she says in her Vachana, she has written more than 430 Vachanas. She says, Ma, what is the use of husbands? They die and decay. Isn't it better to have a husband who never dies? So your wife will never be a widow. Your girl, your daughter will never be a widow. So Channa Mallikarjuna is someone who never perishes, never die. I received him as my husband. So the husband inside and husband outside, I cannot balance both. So it is the love that her love to the divine, she's receiving the divine as her husband. So there is this element of a human experience as well, where, because we are human, we know only the way human can love, either as a child or as a slave or as a master or husband or lover. So she found this way of taking Shiva as her husband, like Andal took Sri Narayana as her husband. And now Kaushik, when he gets married with her, he thinks himself as her husband and comes and then he wants to have his wife like his wife. And Akka Mahadevi says that I am married to Shiva. I do not accept you as my husband. So please don't touch me. But Akka's husband, Kaushik, said, but the cloth you're wearing, the ornaments you're wearing, the house you're sitting in is mine. I have given it to you. Therefore, you belong to me. So what she does, she leaves the house. She takes off her cloth. She throws away her ornament. She goes naked. And Akka's mother got very, very scared. And he comes running. Then she says to her, Akka says to her mother, that forget about this mother-daughter thing. When the whole sky is the ornament of Shiva, I am cladded with the sky. Why? What is the shame? So there is the ultimate vairagya that comes. She is renouncing even her shame, her greed or her desire, everything, nothing matters to her anymore. So it is the love that makes her to be a renunciate like that. So this is what is the common that I see. And this Madhukuri also, when you go from house to house and you see that whole movie happening from each person's life, you naturally become a renunciate. You understand the value of the divine love. Love that frees us, love that liberates us, not bind us. So this will be I think this is what the Baul is arriving at through Madhukari, is Vairagya Bhakti.
So these stories of these uh, incredible sadhakas and saints from the old days and even currently are truly inspiring, and they point us in the right direction on the spiritual path. But those of us who are sitting here and living this life the way we are, wherever we might be in the world, can you give us some suggestions or practices or advice on how it is that we can move from relying on the mundane to fulfill our desire for happiness into the state of vairagya? That's a very long and complicated path, can probably take many lifetimes for a lot of people. So how would you advise or share for the rest of us here who want to engage in practice, who are seekers, who are on a spiritual path, maybe a few steps behind? um, what would you say to someone like us?
Seva. Seva is the only way to liberate oneself and to find the divine love. Seva, sometimes we don't have plenty of things in our life, but we have desire for plenty of things in our life. And then suppose, for example, I'm taking very simple example. Suppose you wanted to have very beautiful clothes in your life, the best ones all over the world. And you collected some. But then the economic condition or the circumstance doesn't let you to fulfill all of that. But then you discover that there are more people who do not have clothes. And the first thing you did is you stop buying your fancy clothes and you buy a lot of clothes with that money and give clothes to all the people. And when you see the true joy in their life, you are liberated from your desire to have those clothes. You feel fulfilled because you have received much more than buying those clothes. It's just a very stupid example I gave. But this is what is that something that you are not fulfilled. You can be fulfilled. You can be liberated from that desire by serving that to many people. Just go beyond this personal me, mine, this and that. Just break it down fiercely, sometimes with love, sometimes just cut it. And then you will see on the other side, there is so much joy, and you will find the abundance, that you are surrounded only with abundance. And that will give you complete vairagya. Vairagya is not, renunciation is not that you have to lose everything. It's that you gain. You have only abundance. Everything belongs to you because you know nothing belongs to you. Therefore, everything belongs to you. So seva is that, because even Chaitanya, when he is teaching normal people, ordinary people, not everyone is a saint. He gave 8 shlokas, that is Shikshashtakam. And in that, he prescribed for all the bhavarogis, or the people who are sick in the world with bondages, he gave them 2 things. One is Harinam, sing the Harinam. It opens the heart. And Trinadapi Sunichana, Tarurupi Shahishnuna. This is all we can do. To be humble, to cultivate humility, that there is something bigger, something greater than us. To be lower than a blade of grass. Tarurupi Shahishnuna, but stand like a tree. How is the tree? That no matter how much they're cut, no matter how much they're wounded, they're always giving fruit, flowers, oxygen. We never even take care, to never even count that because the trees are there, we are here. We are not even counting that. We don't mind cutting the trees which has given our family 30 years of apple, for example, we cut it and build a house with that wood. No gratitude towards that tree. So, but what the tree did, if one shoot came out, it will grow again, again it will give fruits. And the saints are like that. As spiritual practitioners, the attitude of them. So when we do seva, it has to be nishkama seva. By doing seva only one. Nishkama seva doesn't happen in one. Nishkama means selfless service. But this selflessness doesn't come in one day. But by doing and doing and doing, one becomes liberated from all these self stories, own stories. Amanina manadena. To respect everyone and every being. In Vaishnava, they have said, we have to serve human being, but this whole universe is not only human being. There are snakes, there are insects, there are trees, there are all beings. When you are able to serve all, then only you become a true Vaishnava. We are here because everyone is there. So, Amanina manadena kirtanya, praise. The words are very important. Praise Hari, praise Hari, praise Hari. Because when you think positive, speak positive, you transform inside. So this is a simple thing that all of us can do. It's nothing, impossible. And if we can really cultivate this in our life, we become a saint. It's not very difficult to become a saint.
Okay, I'll remember that. Parvathy, I want to ask you, children these days, all around the world, seem to be under a tremendous amount of stress and anxiety, and they seem to be lost for a variety of reasons. And parents are constantly trying to understand how to help their children, even if their children are growing up in a loving home. There are so many other circumstances too. And I know that you have established in India the Suvarna Balya Hridaya, which is the children's music, art, and yoga camp and awareness program. I love that last bit, awareness program for children. And you said that you believe that opening up this space in children and making them feel that they can also have the opportunity of learning and growing spiritually inside, that will not only help them, but help society. So can you just expand a little bit on that in terms of what inspired you to do this and how you see that this has been happening?
So in the modern time, what happened is that we have shifted from our own place. The family traditions that we had, they all stopped or they changed. And even the modern education, what it has given us, not free of desire, but bring more desires and more needs. That's all it has taught us to compete. And then in that process, and it did not happen in one generation, it started happening few generations back. So now when some parents, they have no clue how to grow a child because they themselves have nothing to hold on to except their jobs, except they have no sense of belonging to any place. They don't remember where their family was. They don't remember what was the deity. There was Kula Devata, for example, that was worshipped. And all these practices, when they rituals, they get lost. They don't know how to grow the child. The child grow up very confused, not knowing where I belong to. And then what happens is that sometimes they grow up to be a very good competitors and they succeed in their life. And sometimes they turn to be very confused person. Or sometimes they don't have friends and they have their own fantasies, fantastic world that they create. And sometimes they have some, some accident of good life. But what our traditions taught us is to be in a community. Even when we grow up, we grew up with many aunts, many families. It was all collective. And then there was a clear space of children and the elders. Now there is not even any difference between elders and children. Sometimes elders are afraid when children are in the room. So, or children are afraid that, oh, now the elders have come, now we cannot, be ourselves. So in recent times, when I meet most of the practitioners and sadhus and all of that in my meeting, they are saying that contemplation of divine, singing to the divine, and rituals to be introduced to all the children. Ask them to see how to dress Gopal, how to make an altar, how to offer simple things that if a child is born in Sanatana Dharma or the parents are from Sanatana Dharma, these minimum things has to be done. And also to, even if we have shifted our country, but what was our ancient practice of our family in our village, that deity needs to be fed. And this is will give the, no matter if somebody grew up in US but they had a deity back in Karnataka or back in Bengal, that deity can be worshipped even here, because the essence of these cosmic beings or cosmic deities, they are present everywhere in the world. They can be brought here as well. So this practice has to continue. When I started with the children in village, because you must know that it is not a problem of West and problem of this time here. This is a problem we also face in India. And we face in all the society, be it the elite society, middle class society, or very poor society. And the worst thing is in the poor society, more worse, because they have no access to any kind of teaching. In the school, what they learn is just to be a clerk, or just to write the name or calculate things. There is no education. Means what? It's not only in Indian system, education is both. One is from the skill, that is the Vastu Vidya, that is materialistic way that you can survive with the skill. And another one is Brahma Vidya, the spiritual knowledge that makes you complete, makes you a complete being who can celebrate life. We come to this life not to be stressed. We come to this life to celebrate the life, to look at the sunlight and sunrise and sunset, and to find the joy of living. So children must have that kind of a spiritual teaching in them. And this is why Subarna happened, because I saw that the children did not have access to spirituality, even though they are born in India. And there is everywhere puja is happening, but in the Saraswati puja, they end up playing the DJ, a very bad DJ. This has no taste of music, and it's absolutely like a bunch of noise. And these girls and boys, they're dancing, they don't know how to move. It's just crazy. And then they go into some substance and some violence and things like that. So how can we give the best thing to the children is give it, planting the seed of spirituality, planting the seed of seva, planting the seed of taking care of an altar, serving to the deity. These kind of things, a Sanatana Dharma Hindu child, or whose parents are from Sanatana Dharma Hindu family, they need to cultivate this. I'm talking very specific about Sanatana Dharma. So in this way.
So I can certainly attest to being a child of that generation that lost its way in a certain way. And it was really coming here to the West that reignited that in me. As a child, I had chanted with my grandfather, and that middle generation, when my parents were looking towards the West to make a better life and so forth, we came here. But the thing that I understand in being here also is not only did it reignite my acknowledgement of the heart opening space that comes from spiritual practice as an adult, is also to see how many spiritual teachers have come to the West and established centers for learning here. There's something very sacred about this space, something very open about this space. And I know that you have established an ashram in India, Sanatana Siddhashram, and as a place of practice and to preserve the teachings of your lineage. Lineage seems to be so important here so that we can find our way back to the root and from the seeds from where the wisdom first arose and is transmitted over the generations. So I want to ask you, how has your experience been coming here, because you're right now in the USA as we're speaking, and how does it feel for you to share these practices? I wish everybody had a chance to see the full form of your practice, which I hope everyone will look up on video later, where you're not just chanting, but it's a full body expression with dance and rhythm and music and poetry in space as an offering to the divine. So I hope everyone will see that. But I know that you chanted, for example, in Times Square, of all places, right? Recently in New York, amongst all the electronic billboards of Calvin Klein underwear or whatever might be going on. So can you describe to us, like, how is that for you? Because you do your intense practice in small, poor villages in India, and then you come here to like the economic capital of the world. What is that like?
Naji, that is a beautiful question. And this is a question I have been contemplating on since I started coming to US. I was just telling, I'm just being reflecting through, because I do not have a concrete answer yet. But I'm just reflecting through, is that when I came to US, I just came to share the songs and then to gather some donations, take back to India and keep working on the ashram. That was the whole thing. And before that, I came to US. I started coming to US from year 2000, actually, and came until 2008. And then there was a long gap between 2008 when I started coming again in 2018, 17, 18. So the first half, I came as an artist to sing in the world music festivals or take part in the world puppet festival and all of these things. That time, that was a very different idea of US. I did not get opening to that tremendous treasure that US has, even as a spiritual land. I was only exposed to the other things, other abundance of culture and art and many other things. But one point of time, I decided I don't want to come back to this country again because I had enough. And also my search was more towards going deeper into my 2008. I also took my sannyasa diksha, and that I completely oriented towards the spiritual life. So I slowly started withdrawing from the cultural and artistic life. So then came, one of our first Sangha member, that is Joshua, and he came to our small akhara in Trivandrum and said, "Oh, Parvathy Ma, you have to come to US." Then I liked him so much, I said, "Okay, if you say so, I go, but you arrange everything." So he arranged everything, and next year I was there. And that was a very different initiation of US for me. I started discovering these amazing spiritual spaces, Mount Shasta, then more beautiful spaces of Native Americans. And I could see that how much the ancestors, the spirits, this cosmic world is existing. And that is why this land is so powerful. It gives bounty of things to people. And anything that you do in this land, it reaches the world. World look up to US. Anything that you do in US, it will be heard even in India. And this is the power of this land. Of course, the people who came and started living in this land, they also have put a lot of effort. But that land was ready to receive that and give bountiful back. And this is something that I discovered. Then I discovered that all the masters came to US. They built some institution or center. Then why? It is almost like Kashi. In old time, everybody went to Kashi, Benares, and made their school. Every lineage of India exists in Benares. Even the Baul goes to Benares. So everyone went there. US has become like modern day Benares. Everybody comes and build their lineages here. So why is that so? And Times Square is a space that attracts the whole world. It takes the attention of the whole world. What is there? What was the worship there in that space? I mean, we can amplify the things the way we want. We are fulfilling our desires. As a sadhu, I can say this. We use that to fulfill our desires. But just see the opposite, that this land also had this potential of the spiritual power. And this is why the masters from the East came. And it is also the ancestors were calling them, because somehow be it any religion, be it any sadhana, this had the sadhakas from other parts of the world had to come and hold this worship in whatever way they could, because the worships were declining, what existed in this land before. So they basically held it. And as whatever you do in this land, it gets amplified and it influences the whole world. This is where the people who live here, they need to have a very spiritual grounding in them, so that they can offer the best to the world. And this is why the masters came, to cultivate bhakti, to cultivate nam, to cultivate meditation practices from Buddhism. From everywhere people came, masters came. And so when I came here, I had no plan to make a Baul center. I just came for Madhukari and sing to the devotees here, and go to their houses or meet them in a public space and sing to them. That's it. Then I realized that before me, there were Bauls who came to US. That was almost 40 years ago. Purnadas Baul, and he really presented Baul Parampara in US. And that reached the whole world. And he worked with one of the best known people of that time. And there was a moment that he could build. And I feel that is a continuation of that there's something was supposed to happen, and it is happening now. And so I am just putting another flower in the big garland of spirituality in US. I'm just adding a small bowl centered there in that garland of flowers.
Can you tell us where it is?
This is in very close to Taos, 1.5 hours, and in the southern Colorado. And the mountain is known as Mount Blanca. The Spanish named it like this. And from the tradition of Native Americans, it is called Cisnanjini. the mountain, the Lady Mountain, the white, snowy Lady Mountain, or the lady with a seashell. So when I looked at the mountain, I had no clue to find that land and how it came. This is absolutely a miracle. Through a very dear Anuragi who was deeply touched by Baul traditions, and she herself has followed spiritual path all her life. Now she's in her 60s. She's from Indian origin but lived in US for a long time, from Fiji, Sunita Dutt. And she's very close to the end of her life now. And she wanted to offer her land for something very beautiful work, spiritual work. And she gave this land to build this beautiful center. And it is in the closest town is Alamosa. Right now, there is nothing on the land, but it will come soon. And to everyone, you can have a drop of Baul nectar there.
So it'll be a place to experience the Baul practice and maybe even learn.
Yes, a place to learn. Yes, and place to do sadhana, Baul sadhana.
So before we close, I would like to just ask you if there was one thing that you could say to everybody who's here today. What is one thing that they can do immediately to experience or to express more love in their lives? What would you say?
Seva, serve and love. Do the service not out of obligation. And to everyone in the family, even if you have to do responsibility to your family, to your children, to your husband, to your wife, see divine in them and serve them as if you are serving to the divine. You are giving, when you give your food to your child, give to Balagopal. See Balagopal. When you give the best time of your life to your partner, think that you're giving it to Krishna or giving it to the Shiva, and celebrate life. Don't sit down and be depressed about life. That's the first thing. Just take some sunlight and deep breath and serve and love.
Do you think you would like to close with another chant for us?
Yes, definitely. Of course, about love. So I will, when we started our conversation, we started with this word piriti and how from desire the love happened, and how this cosmic water, that is the seed, that is where the Vishnu is lying, and this from cosmic water came everything. So how the desire transforms into love. For that, Chandidash and Rajokini, they have a poem. And I just want to share with you that when we looked at Akka Mahadevi, Mirabai, Andal, we were seeing a human is loving the divine. And when you're looking at Chandidash and Rajokini, these two human beings who's trying to manifest the divine love in this human relationship between them, they are becoming Ardhanarishwara. They are becoming the experience of Kameshwara and Kameshwari. And this love is called Sahajiya Piriti. Sahaja is the spontaneity, the spontaneous, the innate nature of love. So, so it says Piriti, Piriti, 3 letters makes the word love. And this has all the 3 worlds in it. Chandidas says, the more I contemplate on this word piriti, love, it arises in my heart that there is nothing in this world except this. Vidhi ek chite bhabite bhabite. Vidhi is the creator. With his full presence and contemplation, Nirman Koilopi, he found the word P, the first letter. From the deep, that Rig Veda said, from the seed of desire, everything started, because nobody was there. Nothing was there. There was no night, no day. Where was all these things? From that seed of thought came the first change. And that is P. Rashero Shayor Manthan Korite, Tahe Upad, in this Rashero Shayor, the cosmic sea of rasa. Manthan, when you churned and churned with this little drop of the thought in that, there came the letter Re. So we have now P and Re. Then they churned it again. Then it turned into nectar, because now from desire, it is transforming into a nectar. From the mundane, you are going to the state of vairagya, state of divinity. So from that nectar came tea. And these three letters is the essence of all sukha. Sukha means the state of contentment, where the state of contentment is when male and female is united and they're complete and they have the experience of contentment. So one in whose heart, like Morome inside the heart, entered this truth, for them nothing is the essence. Their life, the essence of their life is nothing but this piriti. Love is the essence of their life. One who has taken these three letters as their contemplation in their heart. Therefore, the love becomes the dharma. Because what you contemplate, what you follow in your life is your dharma, what you hold dearly in your heart, because everything moves according to that. So that becomes the dharma. Piriti becomes dharma. Love becomes the dharma. And also the action. Because when you have love in your heart, every action of your life, every gesture of your life will be full of love only. It will come from the space of love. So therefore love becomes the karma. How it is transforming us, it taking up, is occupying the whole thing of us if we can contemplate on love. That's what Chandidas is saying. And he has no difference. Jati, kul, which country, what color, rich, poor, high, low, nothing matters. In front of love, nothing matters. Chandidas say, I am cultivating that love, and I don't know its ways. I don't know. Every time it's new, ever new. And I don't even know what is the result of this, where ultimately you're going to reach. Because everybody wants a assurance that, oh, you're going to rise your kundalini, or you're going to find your God. Yes, I don't know. Because the sukha, contentment, is just being in that love, in that moment of love, in that contentment. There is nothing beyond that. You are there already. So this boundless binding of love, this love has no limitation. And you are, there is a beautiful expression that you are free in your own prison, you know. So in this limitlessness, you make your limit. And Chandidas says, this is what is the love he experiences. Piriti Piriti বলিয়া এদিন আখরু এদিন ভুবন সার প্রীতি বলিয়া রাতে দিন হায় রাতি দিনে ইহা বই নাহি প্রীতি বলিয়া বিধি এক চিতে ভাবিতে ভাবিতে নির্মাণ কইল রসের রসায়ন মন্থন করিতে তাহে উপজিল পুনজে মথিয়া আমিয়া হইল তাহে ভিয়াইল না দেব সে কি যাহার মরমে পশিল যতনে যাহার মরমে পশিল যতনে এদিন আখর সার ধরম মরম সরম ভরম কি বাজাতি কুলতার এহেন পিরিতি না জানি কিরিতি এহেন পিরিতি না জানি কিরিতি পরিণামে কি বা হয় পিরিতি বন্ধন বড়ই বিষম দ্বিজ চণ্ডী দাসে কয়ে দ্বিজ চণ্ডী দাসে কয়ে Nilaji, I myself want to sing a song, even if you don't want it. So I'm going to one of the Meera bhajan I want to sing for you. I want to sing one of the Meera, where Meera is, this is another aspect that you see, in the ultimate, when in Vedanta one takes sannyas, there is a complete denial of or complete rejection of the world or worldliness. The only thing exists is the divine and divine only. So when you hear to the saints who are the greatest of renunciates, they say that only my Ishvara remains, nothing else, no one else. And so then it becomes absolute renunciation or sannyas. And through the love, how we are arriving there, because Meera is saying, Tuma bin mori kaun khabar le. There is no one whom I belong to or who belongs to me except you, Giridhari. And then she says that when Draupadi stood in the middle of the court, when she was humiliated, it was only you who came and saved her. You are beautiful with Mohan Chura, Mora Mukata, Pitambara, with the yellow robe in your body. Your earrings are so beautiful. You are my Prabhu, Shyama Sundar. And I celebrate the lotus feet that oozes the nectar of love. There is no one, there is none except you, Giridhari. कौन खबर ले गोवर्धन गिरिधारी तुम बिन मोरी गोवर्धना गिरिधारी गोवर्धना गिरिधारी।
The power of love is right there in that longing expressed in that song. Thank you so much, Parvathy Ma, for being with us today. And I'll just let everybody know that if they want to hear more from you, see more of you, learn more about you, that they should go to your website, which is parvathybaul.com, ParvathyBaul.com. Thank you so much. Joy Guru.
Jai Guru, Jai Guru. Thank you, Ninaji, for having all the patience and having this beautiful satsang. And we together contemplated in the essence of love. The words not enough to say what is love, but through the life and through the songs, through the sound, we experience love in every moment and every steps.